Additional aids and services are available to individuals with disabilities. To make such a request, please contact us by email, by clicking the Help tab in the PD portal, or at pdportal@tamu.edu, by phone, including Relay Texas at 1-800-441-7323, or in writing to Train PD, PD Portal Support, 4477 TAMU, College Station, Texas 77843. Both a transcript and accessible document of the content presented in this webinar can be found as resources in the course description. Click on the blue links under Course Resources in the description. When a link is clicked, a new browser window will open.
Today we have Chandra Joshi from StudentNest, Lori Slayton from TWC, Janine Maldonado from Tarrant County Workforce Board, and Paula Nations, who's a tutor from StudentNest.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. We have a good session for you today on a special initiative called the Math Assistance Call Center. When I say it's a special initiative, how that's broken down is all of the federal funding we get. 82.5% of that goes straight into direct services that you all are a part of. And 12.5% is set aside for special initiatives and programs that enhance the core programs, things that assist the students and assist the instructors. So that's what this is. It's a special initiative that we've done for a couple of years now. But in my opinion, everybody should be using this system. It's phenomenal. The students love it. It helps the students tremendously. It helps the teachers because their students are staying caught up in math. A lot of really good things in this. So we're going to hear from a couple of different people today on how this works and how you can best take advantage of the benefits of the program. So for those of you who are new to the Math Assistance Call Center services, providing the team's participant ID to your students is essential. Participants really need to have that ID with them when they reach out for help, whether it's for immediate assistance or to schedule an appointment for tutoring services. Students can access these services in a variety of ways, through the computer, through a smartphone, through a landline. Yes, a regular old telephone we will use if need be to get these students some help with their math. So tutoring is offered in multiple languages. The MACC is open for business from 7 in the morning until 10 at night, every day of the week. When we designed that, we weren't thinking about holidays, but we do close at Thanksgiving and Christmas. But other than that, we're good to go to help everybody we can. So next, we're going to look at some responses from student satisfaction surveys and quotes from students. So this first quote in its entirety reads like this: "To whom it may concern, I would like to thank you for your services. I will loudly say thank you first to Miss Paula Nations for this great opportunity to have her as a tutor. Miss Dietrich is an excellent and exemplary tutor. She has a magic and easy way to explain her courses. She made me re-enjoy math class after many years out of school, and she pushed me anytime to motivate me to challenge myself with homework and the homework of my high school kid. And I feel very proud of myself. Thank you again for your service, and I'm happy to have one of the tutors like Miss Paula." So the survey question we're addressing on this particular slide, it was this tutoring program helpful to you? And 98.2% of respondents said yes, it had been very helpful to them. So that's always a good thing. So this quote: "My tutor has been awesome. She helped me advance and understand math more. When I first started, I had a hard time understanding math, but my tutor broke it down for me in a way I could understand. This program has helped me tremendously." The survey question that we're looking at on this slide is, since the start of the tutoring program, did your math skills improve? And 96.4% said yes, they had improved. Again, excellent results. And this quote is, "This class has been great, easy to understand. I've come a long way since I first began. My instructor is very patient with me and understanding. He is very dedicated in helping me reach my goal of passing the GED test. I've learned a lot. Thank you." And the survey question was, were you able to make a measurable skills gain as a result of tutoring? 94.4 said yes, they had made an MSG as a result of tutoring. And you know how important those measurable skills gains are, not just because they help the student progress, because it helps the program meet their targets also. Next, we're going to hear a little bit from Ms. Janine Maldonado. She is the AEL Director of the Tarrant County Consortium, and she's just going to talk to us a little bit about how their program is utilizing the MACC, because they've been a real strong supporter since MACC inception, and we very much appreciate them and the success that they're having. So I'm going to turn it over to Janine.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you for those statistics. That's awesome. Like, we love to see numbers, as programs and what the responses are back from the students. But thank you so much for letting me talk today about Tarrant. Just really quickly, in Tarrant County, we're a consortium. We have currently 4 different providers that provide AEL classes all the way across Tarrant County. We, as Lori shared with you, have been working with the MACC since inception in one way or another. Started out, as an after hours tutoring program for our students and an option. And then we morphed it and real recently are starting to look at it as an option to enhance our fast track program. So our HSE fast track program. We get great feedback from the students. They enjoy the math lab just because of the fact that they can do this when they put their kids down to bed, or they've already fed them and the kids are doing homework or what have you. The timing is just perfect. Instructors love it because it's additional assistance that the students can get, and they can get that one-on-one. It's really difficult as an instructor to have that multi-level class where everyone has a different math need. Although you're doing instruction, some of them just need it to be maybe like slowed down a little bit, or they might not quite be getting the concept. And what we hear from students is, by going to the MACC and getting that one-on-one, sometimes just having someone else explain it, maybe go in a little bit deeper for them, or maybe just come from a different angle, they're able to understand and they get it and they can move on. Our feedback that we get from the students, it's great for them to be able to do this, because maybe in a classroom setting, they might be embarrassed to say something in front of the class, or even though they're not quite getting it, they might say they're getting it out of embarrassment. So we're extremely grateful for the MACC. We've been able to rely on them to help us out with our students. And we're really happy that these are direct hours now. It hasn't always been that way. So in the beginning, we couldn't count the hours. And so it's also nice for them to be able to get those direct hours. It helps them to reach their full potential. We've served probably over the last couple of years about 100 students through MACC, and our students average about 1.5 hours with the tutor. So it's also really nice that they allow them the time that they need and they block off that time for them. We do have a referral process that's very strict. So the instructors in Tarrant are able to refer their students to MACC, but not until they've reached that 12 hours. And the need has been identified. And we really try to vet the students to make sure that they are in fact going to participate. We don't want them to take up the time and then not show up or be a no-show. So we're really happy and excited to have MACC as a partner. I think it can benefit anyone. And we're excited. I'll just give you a really quick overview on our Fast Track HSE program. That's about a 3 to 4 week program. The students commit to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week in an HSE class. And these are your really motivated students, the ones that maybe they need this HSE in order to keep their job, or maybe they need it to go into a training or skills enhancement that's going to get them a promotion, and they're on a really quick timeline. So our fast track is very intensive. And the idea is that we'll be partnering or pairing our students with MACC and then putting in like a requirement, a minimum number of hours weekly that they have to get with their MACC tutors just to stay on track for those that need it. I hope that you all are taking advantage of this awesome opportunity. MACC has been very easy. Student Nest has been extremely easy to work with. They have been accommodating to us and always a really good partner. So when there's a need identified, they're easy to approach. And it's a win for everybody involved. So your instructors are able to focus on the classroom as a whole and then not be worried that they're leaving somebody behind, because those that need that little extra touch can connect with the MACC and get what they need to get up to speed and keep everybody moving at the same level. So but thank you again for letting me talk about Tarrant. That's been a nutshell how we are working with them, and we're always looking for ways to integrate and work with them even better.
Now we're going to hear from Paula, who's one of the tutors. She's going to talk a little bit, and she's going to show you a little bit of a demo for what the students see.
Thank you so much, Lori. When a student comes, we have our first session, and one of the things that is pretty standard in our first session is to gain an understanding as to what is important for that student. What are they expecting from the tutoring? What are their goals? What has brought them to this place? And all those kinds of things are the things that help us ensure that their sessions are very valuable, that they see them as time well spent. Based on their expectations, based on their goals, then we move forward. I will ask them about where do they see themselves? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? What would they like help in? And I also ask them about their classwork. Is there classwork that they need to work on? Sometimes they will say, oh no, I'm good with my class, but I would like to work on. And consequently, we will work on that particular thing. A lot of times it's fractions, a lot of times it's percents, other kinds of things like that. The other thing is that we use technology. The platform we do use is Zoom. We use that most often. However, and we've had touched on it just a little bit, if for some reason we cannot use that, I've had students who've had internet interruptions. We couldn't use Zoom. We went to the phone. I called them and we had a session on the phone. So we will do our very, very best to ensure that they have the opportunity to meet their learning for that time. So I'd like to give you just a little bit of a demo. Before I do that, however, we want to talk just a moment about who we typically see. We see students who have come to us who have had limited learning opportunities. The other one is that students who have limited success. And the other group of students that I see are students that I call crash and dash. And we've talked about them for just a little bit. These are students who have a very limited period of time in which to gain their GED in math and get on with whatever they've got. They've got just a really short period of time. However, in all these three areas, whether it's limited opportunity, limited success, crash and dash, doesn't matter, these things of apprehension, anxiety, and fear kind of come with them as they come into that first session. And that's part of what we do as tutors, is to say it's going to be okay. We're working hand in hand with you to walk through this process. And that part of this is that every student that comes along has a desire for success, but they don't know how to attain it. And the tutors meet the students where they are. They meet them with whatever anxiety they have, with whatever concerns they have. We meet them where they are to help them walk through. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a demo. And this actually came from a student that I have. She brought this to me, and this was part of her homework. And she said to me, I don't understand. I don't understand what they want me to do. I don't understand. Now, this student and I have been together for probably about 2 months. We met twice a week for about 8 weeks when she brought this. I know from being with her that she is from Pakistan. I know that English is not her first language. I know that she has had a math background up to about the 4th grade level. She can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And after that, we have entered into new territory. So one of the first questions I asked her is in this question 1, I said, talk to me and tell me, what do you think this question is asking you? And she said to me, I don't know what it's asking me. So the first definition we had to go through is the understanding of what a parallelogram is. And the second understanding was the word perimeter. I jotted down these particular things, 12 millimeters, 7 millimeters, and then we went to our whiteboard. We took this and we created a parallelogram. The first thing was the definition that a parallelogram has 4 sides. 2 of those sides are like railroad tracks. They're parallel. And that was an important piece, is to bring about that understanding as to, from our English language, to be able for her to picture this. What is parallel? They run side by side. We have 2 sets of lines that run side by side. We've got a line here and a line here that run parallel, a line here and a line here. So that's the definition. Those 2 qualifications create a parallelogram. The next part, then, we had to define what is a perimeter. A perimeter is that outside line, is the outside line. And what I had started to do was to say that outside line is the fence. And the example I used with this particular student, she has young children, and I said to her, you and your husband are going to go out in the backyard and build a fence so the children can play safely. You have to measure from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, so here to here, so you can go down to Lowe's and buy the fencing. If this is a measure of 7 and this is a measure of 12, this is a measure of 7 and this is a measure of 12, and we're going to use for our demonstration for the fence, we'll use the measure of feet. How many feet do you need? And we're going to add them. And by adding them, that is how we get the perimeter. At this point, we have our number. We've added 14 and 24 so that we have a total of 38. And in that sheet, it was 38 millimeters. So we have our answer. But at this point in time in the lesson, I will ask, do you have any questions? I will turn the sharing button on the Zoom to them to say, now you tell me. And we will create a scenario using those specific words, if that's part of the problem, parallelogram and perimeter, and create a new scenario so she can tell me and she can teach me. In this way, then, the student has an opportunity to demonstrate understanding, and also, as they speak, go along and ask any further questions. That is, in a nutshell, what we do for our time as a tutor.
Thank you. Great job, Paula, by the way. I do want to add, if you notice, just like the class you're attending in Zoom here, we have communication with the student via audio, video. Sometimes, a lot of these people have a weak internet signal. So a lot of the time, both our tutors and the students will have the video turned off. Just like you guys are submitting your questions through chat window, especially if they have audio issues or video issues, we do tell them to start asking their questions through the chat window, or as Paula was drawing on the screen, they can also write their questions or concerns on the whiteboard as well. So we give them multiple ways. Lori mentioned they can easily give them a phone call as well. So they can use the whiteboard if they don't feel comfortable using the chat window, and they can call with the tutor as well and see the material at the same time, talk to them over the phone. Multiple ways we give an opportunity for the students to be able to communicate in the sessions itself.
So the last thing we're going to do is look at some of the referral forms. The first one is the Math Assistance Call Center flyer in English. These forms are all accessible. You can either use these flyers and have the student put the information at the bottom, including their Teams number, so that they have it when they call. It's just very helpful, and that way the student knows what their Teams number is. There's also the information on how to connect with the Math Assistance Call Center by phone or by web, or they can send an email. Any one of those ways are perfectly fine. This is the same flyer, but in Spanish, and it's got the same exact information on it. If you want to have a stack of these in your classroom and hand them out, that's fine as well. You can pin them up on the wall or give them to the students. This is the student referral form that goes to tutoring@studentnest.com, and it's got all the information on it, where it's got the participant ID, that's their Teams ID. And then it says okay to text, because we have started reaching out to students via text. That's important as well. The next form, we have the Memorandum of Understanding. This is between the director of your program and Student Nest, and there has to be one of these on file in order for you all to receive services. So we have assisted students prior to an MOU being signed, but that's, of course, we prefer that the MOU come first. We do have, I think, 37 MOUs right now with programs. There are still a few programs that are not using the Math Assistance Call Center, and I'm hoping that's who we're reaching to today, because we would love to see full implementation of this project. Math Assistance Call Center is not going anywhere anytime soon, so don't worry about that. Refer your students, make sure you have an MOU.
We hope you enjoyed this pre-recorded webinar. After you have passed the final test with a score of 80% or greater and have received your certificate of completion, please take a few moments to complete the course evaluation. Participant feedback helps Train PD at TCAL continue to provide high-quality professional development. To leave a course feedback, please go to the completed portion of your transcript. To do this, hover over the My Learning tab and select View Your Transcript. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the word Active and select Completed. Then, click Evaluate in the drop-down menu next to the course you just completed. Please note that your feedback is greatly appreciated.